So if you're watching this video, you probably already know who Alex Hormozi is and what he has done with the 100 Million Money Models book launch. I think the question here is also, how did he use this book launch to cross over $100 million and break the Guinness World Record for the most number of books sold in 24 hours. This wasn't just some ordinary book promotion. I believe at the end of it, they sold about 3.5 million books, and it was honestly one of the smartest sales presentations I've seen. So in this video, I'm going to break down the genius behind it, some of the persuasion principles that Hormozi uses. I think it's pretty much worth studying because if you think about it, he uses a lot of sales and persuasion frameworks, and I thought it was a masterclass, right? And I feel that it could help basically any business owner that was watching it to either improve your own video sales letter or what I call like conversion stories, where you take a prospect, whether is it a warm or cold prospect, into a paying customer. I personally bought the 6K package and I thought it was really worth my money. So I have about 199 books to give away. If you stay to the end of the video, I'll let you know how you can get this free book if you want. And yeah, let's dive into it. So for a quick context, who am I? My name is Mike. I'm a huge fan of VSLs. In fact, VSLs is one of the biggest mechanisms that allowed me to find product market fit for my own consumer brand and grow that business consistently. And because of that, I have to study, watch, read, and transcribe a lot of brand VSLs and stories, and I've paid a lot of money to learn from some of the OG direct response copywriters in the space. So if you don't know what happened at Hormozi's event, it's the perfect demonstration of direct response marketing, where he's trying to elicit an immediate and measurable response from his audience. So essentially, he compresses the conversion window from 7 days, 14 days to within 24 hours. And that's why he was able to break the Guinness World Record for the number of books sold in 24 hours. Even within my business, we really took off only when we started using VSLs. So I'm a huge fan of the mechanism, and let's dive into it. I wouldn't go too much into the entire lead gen process, the sales funnel and the economics of it, but just a bird's eye view. He basically sold a 200 book package for $5,998, where the real value is in the different bonuses, which is what he calls the ACQ implementation playbooks. And then the upsell is a $3,000 for 6 months intensive with him and his team. All right, so without further ado, let's look into the VSL structure and how he went about with the webinar. I would chunk it into a few key pillars. The first one being the hook and pattern interrupt. The second step being credibility. Step 3 being open loops. Step 4, credibility and even more proof for the solution. Step 5, the unique mechanism of the solution. Step 6, defining the unique mechanism of the solution and then demonstrating the mechanism. And then step 8 is the close, which is where he reveals the free gift that he mentioned in his advertising, something more valuable than an NFT but less than a Bitcoin. And step 9, the close. So then this is him introducing the offer of the 200 book package and the ACQ playbooks. And this is where the bulk of the money is made. I think what was interesting to me, he enters with a world record attempt. There's no crazy promises. It was just, hey, we have a Guinness judge on stage, and it almost immediately reframes this as history making and not just an ordinary webinar where he's trying to sell you something. So people want to be part of a broader and bigger mission. And I thought this was a really interesting open loop because he mentions right up front that we were trying to break 2 world records together here, live, with everybody. And there's a ton of social proof in the background. You see a bunch of people, which kind of wants to make you stay as well. So he does this thing called ally positioning. He essentially says the quiet part out loud, which is, I'm not a saint, I want money too, right? And that's the entire reason why he's doing this. But he ties it to investing in your company through acquisition.com, and it flips the power dynamic to more of a win-win. And he seeds a bunch of proof early, right? So this is where we go into credibility, lots of credibility. You'll see this multiple times throughout the entire webinar. Proof for VSLs are very important because you need to convince your viewers that the mechanism of the solution can be accomplished. Step number 3 is about open loops. Essentially what open loops are, they're questions that you want answered so that you continue watching. And open loops are a key part to any VSL or any webinar. So in this case, he has 4 open loops where he talks about going to get for being here. And he talks about how it's more than an NFT, less than a Bitcoin. What kills 82% of businesses. Hint is not lack of hard work, so this is a bit of a contrarian frame. The one thing that makes a business impossible to kill. And step 4, how to apply it to your business today. And there are more open loops. Every single person here will get something for free, and it's almost like cliffhangers. And this incompleteness is the reason why viewers continue to stay watching, right? They don't bounce because they want to find out, hey, I want the answers to the open loops. Next, we talk about step 4, credibility and even more undeniable proof. So right now, at this point in the webinar, he's teasing the unique mechanism of the solution. He talks about how 100 million money models is almost like a meta point to how you monetize this entire launch. The focus here, it's more on the book works, and he used it for the launch. And the reason you're here is because whatever that he teaches in the book actually makes sense and is effective. Now, step 5 is the unique mechanism of the problem, which is what kills 82% of businesses. This is where he crystallizes the enemy. Before he does that, he does this thing called the pain chain, and I thought it was really brilliant because it was just so compelling. It starts off with a general truth, which is there's only one way to kill business. You run out of money. 82% of businesses fail due to poor cash flow. A specific fact, like 54% of businesses lose money or break even each year. The median income is 48K, which is a fraction above minimum wage. A cinematic one where he talks about the missed life montage, like 80-hour weeks, missed weekends, holidays, school plays, family dinners, so on and so forth. Emotional, end up poorer than you started, get sued, stolen from, and called the bad guy for trying to make. So reputation wounds, not just money wounds. And then of course the core wounds, right, which is a huge part of what makes an entrepreneur an entrepreneur. It's that ability to have that freedom and control. You can't even pay annual filing fees, you close, you sacrifice everything, you lost sovereignty over time, money, and name. So I thought this was a really good way to stack pain and just get the emotional conclusion so that you as the viewer arrive there yourself. He names the enemy precisely, that you can be working very hard, you can be doing everything correctly, but if your money model is broken, nothing will work. And he gives a really good analogy and mental models. I think that's what Alex is really gifted in, just framing the entire thing as obsessing over the aerodynamics of the car when in reality the engine doesn't even start. So this really positions the stage for his unique solution, that all you need to solve is the money model for the business. Now, the next few parts is about defining the unique mechanism of the solution, mechanism demonstration. This is a part where he's trying to stack the value to a high anchor price so that when you receive that free gift, it builds a lot of goodwill and perceived value. So he first defines what that mechanism is, which is the 100 million money models. He defines it as an equation. He defines the 4 sub-mechanisms, which are attraction, upsell, downsell, and continuity. He essentially crystallizes it into 4 different types of markets, which you can identify yourself in for your business. Sales in person, sales online, checkout in person, self-checkout online. It universalizes the fix, and he also likes to use this special snowflake thing, essentially saying that, hey, your business is not a special snowflake, your business isn't different. Identify yourself within one of 4 categories. Step 7 is the mechanism demonstration. I thought it was really interesting. The first mechanism demonstration was the salesperson in person, which is in this case his gym business when he first started out, and the fix was the win your money back attraction. And then the second demonstration is B2B gym launch, which is essentially the continuity bonus upsell. And the third demonstration is self-checkout in person, which is a B2B to C model, which he implemented the menu upsell. And then the fourth demonstration is self-checkout, which is school community, right? How he added school games to increase users from 1 million to 15 million. And then a meta demonstration itself is the launch, which he was showing how he was able to launch money models by having different mechanisms within pay less now, pay more later, VIPs, buy X, get Y, essentially using the revenue, the return from his ad spend almost immediately. We move to the close. The close is really interesting because there are 2 layers to the close. The first layer is talking about bonuses that comes with the book. And this is where the open loop of the free giveaway, giving something that's more valuable than an NFT and less than a Bitcoin. And I thought that this was really clever because he understands that the second offer that will come in later would price out majority of the audience, but he doesn't want to kill any goodwill. So he gives a bunch of bonuses so that people walk away still feeling very happy. So I won't go into too much depth, but within this First layer of the free bonuses, it's the continuity blueprint, the traction accelerator, the epic upsells, deal maker downsells, and of course it stacks the total to be about $70,000. So this is a huge anchor price. These systems are more valuable than the masterminds that sell for this amount of money. His hourly rate for his one-on-one is $1 million a day. And then he ladders down the pricing, interest-free payments, and he does his classic $0. This just builds a lot of goodwill, right? Because it's not enough to just say that you're giving all this for free. People usually don't value free things, but by positioning that these items actually have inherent value because they have sold them before for those prices, people are more willing to pay for it. And if they find out it's free, it just builds a lot of goodwill and perceived value. So he names the mechanisms. There's a lot of novelty in it. He attaches concrete dollar values, stacks to a big total of 70K, and compares it to pricey alternatives. Inflate the perceived value, then walks the price down. So it's essentially a contrast effect before the eventual free reversal, which flips risk and spikes reciprocity. And he throws in a couple of extra bonuses like lost chapters. Yeah, this was really cool. Instead of alienating the majority of people that wouldn't buy his 6K offer, everyone walks away feeling very happy because they got a bunch of free gifts. There's this thing called the Velvet Pouch Principle from this book called The Great Leads, where giving away perceived insider secrets makes the prospect feel lucky to have just been in the room. When someone hears frameworks, formulas, or proprietary names, they feel like they've been admitted into an inner circle. And then there's the perceived unearned advantage. Even if they don't buy, they leave thinking, wow, I got so much value for free. What must the paid staff be like? Which will come in later, right? And then the goodwill and reciprocity, giving away high-ticket insights for free creates an unspoken debt. The prospects feel they owe the presenter something. So this is the reciprocity bias, and then future buying seats. Right? So even if people don't buy today, there's goodwill being sown, which is what Hormozi does really well. And it's the reason why he's been able to sell so much in such little time. So the second part, here's where the close gets genius. I think it was really good the way he pivoted, the way he frames the entire conversation. He hashed it with saying, beginners who got all the free stuff, are you going to complain if I incentivize the business people to donate a ton of books? Right, so he just calls it out right at the start, and it positions him to go heavy on selling the business owners, the money makers, the players that are willing to invest 6K, right? So he goes on to say this, if you're at the game, I made this for you. I said, I'll show you how it's in your best interest to help me help everyone and how we can accomplish both our goals together. So I'm going to ask you to donate 200 books. That's $5,998 in book donations. And why donating 200 books will be the best business decision that you'll make this year easily. So he essentially avoids the backlash by telling the beginners you have this much free content and there's so much that you can get from just the free stuff. And it also creates permission for him to sell hard to the serious players. I thought that the close was really good. He tells the story of how he did all the legwork of developing the ACQ playbooks, which is essentially a classical hero story, a hero's journey. He has spoken to 1,000 business owners and developed a proprietary method towards lead systems, sales systems, delivery, profit systems. And all of these playbooks are worth $420,000 in value. And he only assembled this many implementation systems, right? So there are a few reframes here that I thought was interesting. The emotional reframe, you're not buying, you're helping by donating books. And it's financially smart, it's a tax deduction. A practical reframe, for a burrito a day, using Affirm, you can just pay $249 a month and get the entire set. 25K units versus 113K units live. He shows social proof. You'll sell out mathematically, so the urgency feels rational, not hyped. And then just framing the purchase as buying 200 books. He also allows his buyers to become his affiliates as well, which I thought was really smart. And once the why donate frame is solid, he finally shows what you get. The lead, sales, delivery, profit systems, framed as battle-tested tools from real operators that normally cost $35,000 each, right? And he just keeps on layering credibility. I love the part about his close is that there's a very clear pattern and repetition. He follows this loop of introducing the mechanism, teasing the mechanism feature, social proof of results, value anchor, until all the playbooks are communicated and people see that it's such a no-brainer to buy the playbook. Now, what makes Hormozi's sales arguments great? One of the hidden lessons that I found in Hormozi's page is that good sales copy is repetitive, not in a lazy way, but in a very patterned and strategic way. He repeats the same arguments, but in many different forms, right? And he reframes them emotionally, logically, financially, or practically. This isn't like redundancy. He's not doing it for fun, right? It's like reinforcement. You might feel it's repetitive, but it's really good because it's tackling the problem, it's tackling some of these objections in like different ways. So it catches you as a prospect to give you so many reasons on why you should buy, right? And this repetition reduces resistance. One of the reasons why I love listening to Hormozi as well is because he tells really good stories. I think he's a very good storyteller. He talks about Elon Musk going all in on his startups. Jeff Bezos quotes on risk and return. Humans tend to overestimate risk and underestimate opportunity. And these quotes and these stories are sales arguments. It's basically designed to give you that mental framework towards making that purchase so that you feel confident to do it. And it's lots of compelling and helpful stories, right? He talks about his own personal stories, investing into his business, his own mentors telling him why he should invest in his business. And so for the remaining 5 hours of the webinar, it's essentially a masterclass in repetition, closing loops, objection handling, and reinforcement. I was pretty bored that day, so I was just watching the entire thing. He cycles through multiple sales arguments. Because Alex is so well prepared, he knows everything about the playbooks, the money models, the different mechanisms within the different playbooks that he is selling. So any question, any objections, any FAQs from people that calls in, he can essentially pull up straight away from whichever playbook. And it's almost a way to demonstrate expertise and give people confidence in the product, right? Which is, let's be honest, people are really buying the bonuses for the playbooks. And that's what he's really selling. And he's able to make different sales arguments like mapping the worst case scenarios. Worst case scenario of buying 200 books is that you get a tax deduction. You sell the books to recoup some or all the costs. You give it as a gift, give it to your employees. Feel good about helping 199 other entrepreneurs. So he also preempts an upsell with the purchase, and then the social proof of the world record for the number of books sold, and the Q&A demonstration of expertise referencing to the playbooks. Yeah, so if you're interested, I recommend you watch the entire thing. So if you're interested, I recommend you watch the video if it's still up. I think Hormozi does such a good job with storytelling and just addressing objections. He probably knows every product at the back of his hand, so he's able to pull that up in the different FAQs, and I thought that was really good. Really demonstrates expertise and the value that he can bring. Now, if you'd like to receive a free copy of the book, the best way I can reach you is for you to join my free community. I'll be documenting my strategies and insights when it comes to building and scaling my own brand with conversion stories and funnels. And that could be valuable for what you're building too. Visit the URL you see on the screen.